Hi folks, it's Dr. Neals Chitan again with another episode of DN-EWS or Dr. Neals Emotional Wellness Support. Today, my friends, it is the 7th of February 2022, which makes it exactly 48 years since Grenada gained its independence. 48 years, and as you see on the screen there, it's a copy of our flag, our national flag, and it says, Happy 48th anniversary of independence to this beautiful nation. This nation that has given me birth, this nation where I got my primary and secondary, and even post-secondary, started my post-secondary education here. I'm so happy to be back here after 38 years to celebrate this milestone, and I'm eagerly looking forward towards the 50th anniversary of independence. Ladies and gentlemen, as I look at independence and what he has done, as I work through and I live through a number of governments that ruled this nation from 1974, with the father of independence, of course, Sir Eric Matthew Gary, then of course by the popular and charismatic Maurice Bishop, and then we moved right on with other prime ministers until the coming of course, other interim prime ministers until we come to the coming of the current Dr. Keith Mitchell, and then subsequently the NDC, and now again the NNP. As we walk through these 48 years, my friends, we have to ask ourselves, are we better off for it? Have we learned lessons? And I dare say, as I come back to Grenada 38 years after leaving the beautiful shores of my homeland, I must say, we have made strides. So be hopeful. Despite the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, which we're experiencing now, that's crippling every aspect of our country and its development, we still can say that our nation is blessed. Now, my friends, as I decided to look at the 48th anniversary of independence, I look at our flag. And for most Grenadians, we would proclaim it to be the best flag in the world. Why wouldn't we? By the way, even if I did live in Canada for an extended period of time, most of my life, by the way, and really look up and adore the maple leaf, the red maple leaf, I still biasly say that the Grenadian flag is the best flag in the world. And of course, the native of every land will say that. However, my friends, I decided to do a research. Why the colors of the flag? Why the red and the yellow and the green? And so I decided to look for the answer. I turned to the pages of Encyclopedia Britannica, and there I found out, ladies and gentlemen, that the green is for our vegetation. And there's no doubt that Grenada has lots of rainforests. When you look at the Grenada and all the mountain ranges, the beautiful greenery. But not only that, Grenada has the greenery of agriculture, farmed crops, the fragrance of the spices and the nutmegs and the greenery of the cocoa. Beautiful. And so the green stands for vegetation. They're telling me the red stands for the people's humility and unity. That's what Encyclopedia Britannica said. It represents the people's humility and unity. And ladies and gentlemen, there's no doubt that we have united as a nation. We have been through so many things, disasters, and all kinds of things to set back our growth and progress. But Grenada has always united. We could think about it about Hurricane Ivan and other such things right now, the pandemic that's squeezing the life out of our economy. But Grenadians are known to unite and for the humility. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I went on to the yellow. And I found out that Encyclopedia Britannica says that the yellow in our flag symbolizes wisdom and sunshine. And of course, you cannot beat Grenada for its brilliance, the luster of the sunshine, and as compared to some of us that grew up in the colder regions, something that we long for, something that we would pay for, just to come and sit on our beaches and enjoy the warmth of the sunshine. But ladies and gentlemen, it's also saying that it represents our wisdom. And I ask ourselves the question, have we as Grenadians shown growth in the area of wisdom? I think so. I think so. I really do think so. But ladies and gentlemen, as I now transition from the colors of the flag, which are some of my favorite colors, as you will see in a little while, I think about not only the wisdom of those that have doctorates and PhDs like myself, the Prime Minister and some of my colleagues, or the wisdom of teachers and the wisdom of, and that's good, by the way, but I could think about the wisdom of the older folks, grandma's wisdom, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, I want to think about one thing that grandma said, or your grandma said, or some older person, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's believed that age brings wisdom, experience and wisdom. So I just want to turn you, in this episode of DN-EWS, I just want to compare the color of our flag to another concept that we have been driving around the world. And ladies and gentlemen, as a Grenadian born, it was my pleasure to take the colors of my flag with me around the world. East Africa, Europe, across the States, Canada, from Jamaica right down to Trinidad and Tobago, I've carried the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, for the past 20 years plus, I have been, as a social and behavioral interventionist, I have introduced to the world these colors. And if you look at the screen, you'll see it. For this is indeed the red, the yellow, and the green. And along with that, ladies and gentlemen, the campaign is called Project Stop and Think. Don't you see the wisdom I'm talking about? It says, always stop the red and think the yellow before you proceed. Don't do something first and then have to regret it. So where does Grenadian wisdom come in there that I'm talking about in the older heads of my grandma? My grandma said, count to 10 before you react. Very brilliant people. Wise, probably unschooled, but wise anyway. And what did Britannica say the yellow in our flag represents? The wisdom. And here it is that we are able to merge the yellow, the wisdom of our flag, and grandma saying, count to 10 before you react. 2, our popular slogan or mantra, always stop and think before you proceed. Ladies and gentlemen, this mantra, this concept, I introduced to the world in the year 2000, when I myself did not make the best decision I could have. When I allowed my impulses and my emotions to get a better off me. And ladies and gentlemen, it is the antidote. Because right now in our society, in our world at large, globally, so many people who have achieved much have wrecked their lives because they did not stop and think. You see, ladies and gentlemen, as I do these presentations, using the color of our flags, the red, the yellow, and the green, in communities, I said to them, and they answer me like a chorus, if you don't think about it, and they answer back, you will pay for it. There's so many people who have paid, and as you listen to me now, probably you have paid yourself. Probably you are still dealing with lifelong consequences for not thinking about a decision. Professionals who only react on impulse and let their emotions get the better of them are paying dearly the consequences of their actions, the consequences of their words. Ladies and gentlemen, there are things we grew up with, sayings like sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's the biggest lie. Because ladies and gentlemen, if you get an abrasion from a stick, in 2 weeks' time it's going to heal, and probably in 5 months' time you wouldn't even see. But when we say certain words to our spouses, to our children, to our students, teachers, or students to a teacher, or opposition to the government, or government to the opposition, when we say things and we hurt people deeply, it lasts for a very, very long time. So today, I'm glad to be able to pull together the symbol of our flag, the red, the yellow, and the green. And I'm glad I was given the chance to champion this great message. Always stop and think. Ladies and gentlemen, it's called Project Stop and Think. It's a powerful project where we go into communities, we go into schools. It comes with 3 distinct approaches. One, a preventive approach, where we do it in schools and help children to manage their anger. Ladies and gentlemen, it actually creates a psychological pause mechanism. When you're really hot and you're really angry, how to park yourself for a while and think. Okay, if you don't, you just may suffer the consequences. So it's a powerful presentation, and we do it, as I said, the first approach is preventive in the grade schools, in the high schools. Then we also do interventive in the communities. So we go into communities, sit on the block, use a space, and speak to men. And I will show you in a little while that it did happen here in Grenada. And then the third approach is a rehabilitative. So we go into the institutions like the prisons, the young offenders detention centers, and speak to them, help them to understand the importance. Because they will be coming back out, hopefully, and how not to return, or how to reduce recidivism. So I'm happy to be able to be the one who championed this cause. I want you to know, world out there, that I did not create this for the world. I too was making bad decisions. I too was very impulsive. I too did things and said things that got me in trouble. And I decided I had to do something to help myself, to be the best version of myself. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know, millions and millions around have been helped because of that simple mantra, a Grenadian mantra that carries the Grenadian colors, the red, the yellow, and the green. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just a representation of what happened in St. Kitts. We had thousands on the streets of St. Kitts wearing the Stop and Think shirts, shouting, stop and think before you proceed. Okay, if you don't think about it, you may pay for it. Recently in Grenada here, where we are currently as consultants, we went to one of what was deemed as one of the hot spots for crime in Grenada. That's the beautiful community of Mount Horn. And there we renamed that community. We changed the profile of that community. We ran the program. We started on the curbside, talking to people. Then we end up in the community center. And there we have it. These are some of our graduates from Mount Horn. Mount Horn setting the example of Stop and Think in Grenada. And I want to encourage my Mount Horn graduates, keep climbing. There are times you will be upset. There are times you will be angry. But think about your consequences before reacting. Ladies and gentlemen, it was my pleasure to come to Grenada. I think it was 2007, around there, when Grenada ran a campaign, anti-violence campaign in schools. And from the Ministry of National Security, I was presented with this copybook. I think I have it on stage. This copybook for the International Day to protest against violence. And in that copybook, I was so proud when I looked and the Ministry of National Security used the Stop and Think concept in the open page, as you see. as you open the page, there it is, the stop and think concept, as they saturated the minds of our children with that concept. Something that would save their lives, something that would save their freedom. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm almost sure, if you're from Grenada, if you're from any part of Toronto, or even the States, or St. Kitts, or Jamaica, you may have seen this poster. This poster, I don't know if you can see it from where you are there, but this poster we have had in schools, in community centers, in police stations in England, and it simply says, you carry our mantra, always stop and think before you proceed. Again, bearing our national colors, the red, the yellow, the green. So, ladies and gentlemen, on this wonderful occasion of our 48th anniversary of independence, as we wear our colors, as we proudly exhibit our colors, I want you to know that we are also symbolizing, taking these colors and create this crime reduction, this mind-altering concept. The red, stop. The yellow, grandma's wisdom. Count to 10, think. And ladies and gentlemen, the green, before you do, before you go, or before you proceed. Again, I want to thank you so much for listening. And this is, again, Dr. Neals Chitan with another episode of D-News, Dr. Neals, Emotional Wellness Support. God bless you. And again, to our Grenadian people in the diaspora, wherever you are, or locally in Grenada, happy 48th anniversary. Let's stop and think, my friends. Bus drivers, and if you're on the road, think about what you're doing. Think about the way you're driving. People in the office that are tempted to curse and take advantage, sexual assault in Grenada. People that tend to have a leaning towards sexual assaulting our children or women, and our men too, by the way. Let's stop and think. For indeed, as simple as it sounds, it is the antidote to curb a lot of social dysfunctions we see in our country. Again, happy anniversary of independence, and see you at the 50th mark. God bless you now.